My greedy cousin demanded I let her move into my beach house for free, mocking, "You don't even deserve a place like this." When I refused, she filed a fake ownership claim and sneered, "Enjoy being homeless." The judge read the real documents and declared, "Actually, you're the one trespassing." Her screams filled the courtroom as she was escorted out. I never thought owning a beach house would lead to such family drama. My cozy retreat in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, was my sanctuary, a place to unwind and escape daily stresses. It wasn't extravagant, but its oceanfront view made it priceless to me. Little did I know, it would become the center of a storm involving my cousin Sophia. Sophia and I grew up together, sharing countless childhood memories. As adults, our paths diverged. I worked hard in graphic design, saving diligently to afford the beach house. Sophia led a more carefree lifestyle, hopping between jobs without much stability. Despite our differences, we stayed in touch, meeting at family gatherings. During a family reunion in Charleston, Sophia approached me on the porch. The warm evening breeze carried the scent of magnolias as she spoke. "I've been thinking about moving to Myrtle Beach," she said. "The job market seems promising, and I need a change." I nodded, understanding her desire for a fresh start. "That's great," I replied. "Myrtle Beach has a lot to offer." She hesitated, then asked, "Could I stay at your beach house until I get settled?" Her request caught me off guard. The beach house was my personal retreat, a place I valued for solitude. "Sophia, I understand you're looking for a new beginning, but I cherish my time at the beach house. It's where I unwind. I'm not comfortable with someone else living there, even temporarily." Her face tightened, and she muttered, "You don't even deserve a place like that." I chose to ignore the comment, hoping to avoid conflict. The rest of the evening was tense. Weeks later, I received a letter from the county recorder's office. Sophia had filed a claim against the ownership of my beach house, alleging a verbal agreement that the property was hers. I was dumbfounded. I called Sophia, seeking an explanation. She was cold and unyielding. "Sophia, I got a notice about a claim you filed against my beach house. What's going on?" "I believe I have a right to the property," she stated flatly. "We never had such an agreement," I countered. "We'll let the courts decide," she replied, ending the call abruptly. Feeling betrayed, I sought legal counsel. My attorney, Mr. Harris, reviewed the case and reassured me. "Your cousin's claim lacks merit," he said. "Without evidence of such an agreement, her case is weak. We'll gather all necessary documentation to support your ownership." The following weeks were filled with legal proceedings and mounting stress. Sophia's accusations painted me as deceitful, dividing our family. The situation was emotionally draining, but I found solace in the support of close friends and my legal team. The court hearing arrived, and the atmosphere was tense. Mr. Harris presented evidence, the deed in my name, mortgage payment records, and testimonies from neighbors confirming my sole ownership. Sophia's attorney struggled to argue her case without tangible evidence. The judge listened intently before rendering a decision. "After reviewing the evidence, it's clear the property belongs to the defendant," she stated. "The claimant's assertions are unsubstantiated. Furthermore, filing a fraudulent ownership claim is a serious offense. I order the claimant to cease any further actions regarding this property and to cover all legal fees incurred by the defendant." Sophia's face turned pale, and she erupted in rage. "This isn't fair," she screamed as security escorted her out. The ordeal left me emotionally exhausted but relieved that justice had prevailed. The experience taught me a harsh lesson about trust and the lengths some will go out of greed and envy. While I mourned the loss of a once close relationship with my cousin, I found comfort in standing my ground and protecting what was rightfully mine. After the court ruling, I thought it was finally over. I really did. The judge had made it crystal clear, Sophia had no claim to my beach house. The documents were in my name, the mortgage had been paid from my bank account, and there were years of paper trails to prove it. Everyone in that courtroom saw how full of crap her story was. And when she got dragged out, screaming like a banshee, I figured that was the last time I'd have to deal with her. I was wrong. It started with the phone calls. Blocked numbers. Random times, early in the morning, past midnight. I wouldn't answer, but the voicemails made it clear who was behind them. She never said her name, but the voice was unmistakable. Raspy, angry, and weirdly calm in a way that made my skin crawl. "You think you've won, but this isn't over. You don't deserve that house. I'll make sure you regret this." I saved every voicemail. I showed them to Mr. Harris, who advised we report it and file for a restraining order. Which we did. The cops took it seriously, thankfully, but even they said unless she did something physical, there was only so much they could do. And then things got physical. One weekend I drove down to the beach house for the first time since the court drama. I pulled up and everything looked fine from the outside. But when I stepped in, the smell hit me. Mold, rotting food, something else I couldn't even place. I walked through the place in shock. The fridge had been unplugged, food left inside. The bathroom sink was overflowing, someone had stuffed towels in the drain and left the water running. The living room had broken glass on the floor, and a giant crack ran down the middle of the TV screen. There were muddy footprints everywhere. And the worst part? On the living room wall, written in something I didn't want to identify, were the words, "Enjoy your kingdom, thief." I sat down on the porch steps and called the police. Again. The officer took one look inside and said, "She broke in. There's no question. But without cameras or eyewitnesses, it's her word against yours." We checked the locks, none were forced. That's when it hit me. The extra key I used to keep in the flower pot just in case I forgot mine? It was gone. I knew I'd made a mistake. Insurance helped with the damage, but I had to change all the locks and install a full security system with cameras. It cost a chunk of money, but peace of mind was worth it. For a little while, it worked. Things went quiet. No calls, no weird visits, no new threats. Months passed. I finally started to breathe again. I even took a few weekends to relax there, coffee on the deck, reading, walking along the beach in the early morning. But it didn't last. It was a Thursday morning when I got the email. No subject line. Just a single attachment, a scanned letter. At first, I thought it was spam. But when I opened it, my stomach dropped. It was a letter, written to the county zoning board. From Sophia. It accused me of running an illegal rental business out of the house. According to her, I had dozens of guests staying at the property and was violating local codes by turning the place into a short-term rental without a permit. Total lie. I never rented it out. Not once. But the complaint triggered an automatic investigation. I got a notice from the city to appear and provide proof of usage. And just like that, I was dragged back into the chaos. I had to show utility bills, tax filings, and phone records to prove I hadn't listed the house on Airbnb or anything similar. Luckily, I kept everything. My paperwork was airtight. But it wasted days of my life and added a new layer of anxiety I didn't need. I called my lawyer again. He sighed like he was just as exhausted as I was. "This is harassment," he said. "It's textbook. She's trying to ruin your peace because she can't ruin your property." I asked if we could sue her. "Maybe," he said. "But it's tricky. Harassment cases like this can be hard to win unless you've got a mountain of documentation." So I started building one. Every voicemail. Every police report. Every invoice for repairs. Copies of emails, screenshots of blocked numbers, even a journal where I logged every suspicious thing that happened. I wasn't going to wait around and hope she got bored. I was going to gather everything and be ready when the next shoe dropped. And oh, it dropped hard. 3 weeks ago, I got a call from a real estate agent. A sweet lady, cheerful voice. "Hi. I just wanted to confirm, are you still interested in listing your property? I spoke with your cousin Sophia about selling your beach house, and she said you two had agreed to put it on the market this month." I nearly dropped my phone. I told her, very calmly, that Sophia had no right to make any decisions about that house and she should not be speaking with her. The agent was mortified. She apologized up and down and promised to cut off all contact immediately. Apparently, Sophia had gone so far as to send in fake documents again, this time forging a letter, signed, by me authorizing her to act as my representative in a sale. The agent had flagged it because the signature didn't match the one on my old mortgage paperwork. That's the only reason she called me. I went straight to the police. This time, they took it much more seriously. Forgery. Attempted fraud. Real estate scam. An officer came to my door with a clipboard, and after going over the details, he said, "You know, this isn't just a family squabble anymore. This is criminal." Finally, someone was calling it what it was. They opened an investigation. I haven't heard anything back yet, but I was told that if they find enough evidence, she could be looking at actual charges this time, not just civil court, but real consequences. And even though I should feel some relief knowing the law is finally catching up to her, I don't. Not really. Because deep down, I know she's not done. I know there's more coming. And I have no idea what it'll be. A couple weeks after the real estate agent incident, I tried to move on with my life. There's only so much energy a person has, and I was running on fumes. I even started therapy, which helped a little. My therapist kept reminding me to separate what I could control from what I couldn't. "You're not responsible for your cousin's actions," she said. I believed her, mostly. But I was still watching my back. Then one morning I got a call from my employer's HR department. "Hey, sorry to bother you, but we received some concerning documents," my HR rep said. "Someone sent in a packet with accusations that you were misusing company equipment, doing freelance design work on company time, and possibly leaking client data. It's serious. We're required to investigate." My heart dropped. I'd done none of that. I'm careful, always have been. My work laptop stays at work, I keep client files locked down, I don't even check my personal email on the company Wi-Fi. I asked if they could send me copies of the accusations. When the packet arrived a day later, I sat at my kitchen table shaking. It was all fake. Like, absurdly fake. Screenshots of doctored emails, witness statements from people who didn't even exist, and weirdly specific claims about me being involved in some kind of data leak to a competitor, which, by the way, didn't even operate in our market. The formatting was sloppy, the grammar was off, and a few of the so-called emails included phrases I knew only Sophia would use. One phrase in particular made my blood run cold, just like how you stole the house. I brought everything to HR, and they cleared me after a week of digital forensics. They even offered to help me take legal action if I wanted, saying it was one of the most bizarre attempts to sabotage an employee they'd seen in years. And then, silence. No calls. No letters. No fake complaints. Just silence. For 3 full months. I started to think she'd finally cracked and ended up in some kind of institution. Or maybe the cops finally got through to her. Maybe a family member talked her down. I don't know. I didn't want to ask. But then, this past month, a family friend, Mrs. Grant, called me out of the blue. She sounded confused and a little concerned. I just wanted to check in with you, dear. Sophia stopped by the church last week, said she was raising money for your medical bills. I froze. What? Yes, she had a flyer. Said you'd been in a car accident. Traumatic brain injury, she said. Couldn't work, needed home care. She was collecting donations to help with expenses. My throat went dry. Did anyone give her money? I asked. Oh yes, several people did. She had pictures too. You in a neck brace. A hospital bed. I sat down hard in my chair. I hadn't been in a car accident. I was fine. I hadn't even had a cold. The pictures? I had no idea where she got them. I asked Mrs. Grant to send me a photo of the flyer. She did. I can't even explain what it felt like seeing it. My name, my photo, and a sob story printed out and distributed in my hometown church. There were quotes under my picture like, I just want to get back on my feet. She'd set up a PayPal link. A real one. With my name, but her email. I reported it immediately. Filed a police report. Contacted PayPal. Thankfully, they froze the account and began an investigation. They wouldn't tell me how much she'd raised, but judging by how fast they acted, it must have been more than pocket change. This was something new. This wasn't just property or petty revenge. This was identity fraud. Fundraising fraud. Possibly even medical scam territory. It crossed into something that could land her in prison for a long time. But here's the wildest part. In the middle of all this, I got a message from a man named Mark. He sent me a message on Facebook, out of nowhere. Hi. I'm not sure how to say this, but I think I've been dating your cousin for the last year, and I believe she's been using your name and photo on social media. I only figured it out when I accidentally saw one of your reel posts shared by a mutual friend. I didn't even know what to say. We talked on the phone. He was a real person. Professional, polite, clearly shaken. He sent screenshots of messages Sophia had sent him using a different name, my name, and pictures from my social media that she had stolen and passed off as her own. She told him she was a graphic designer, that she owned a beach house, that she was successful but lonely, healing from a divorce. She used details from my actual life to build a new identity. He even showed me pictures she'd sent of herself. She'd dyed her hair to match mine. Started dressing like me. In one photo, she was standing in front of my house. I think she took it before the locks were changed. It was like something out of a psychological thriller. Mark apologized over and over, even though none of it was his fault. He said he broke it off the moment he realized what was happening, and he offered to testify if needed. I added it to the pile of evidence. That's where things stand now. There's an ongoing investigation with the local police. I've been in contact with a detective who's taking it seriously. He told me outright, we're looking at a pattern of stalking, fraud, and impersonation. If she doesn't stop, she'll end up behind bars. But here's the thing. I don't think she wants to stop. I think she's too far gone now. This isn't just a grudge anymore. It's obsession. She doesn't just want my house. She wants my life. And honestly, I'm scared of what she might do next. I didn't expect to see her again face to face. Not after everything. I thought maybe she'd skip town or quietly fade out of my life while the investigation closed in. But life isn't clean like that. Sometimes it forces the confrontation whether you're ready or not. It was a Saturday afternoon when it happened. I was at a local community fundraiser, something I used to enjoy before everything turned toxic. I went mostly out of guilt. A friend from work had invited me, and I was trying to be social again, show the world I wasn't broken, that I was still standing. The event was held at a park near the beach. People set up booths, local vendors selling handmade candles and art, kids running around with balloons. It was the kind of place where you wouldn't expect the floor to fall out from under you. I was talking to a vendor, half listening, when I heard someone say, "Isn't that the girl from the hospital fundraiser?" She looks fine to me. That's when I turned. And there she was. Sophia. Walking through the crowd like she had every right to be there. Wearing a sundress and sunglasses, hair curled just like mine used to be before I chopped it short to feel different. She spotted me at the exact same moment. Our eyes locked. Her whole face twitched. She looked shocked, not scared, not embarrassed. Just caught. I walked toward her. My heart was racing. I didn't plan anything. My legs moved before my brain could stop them. She stopped a few feet away, like she was daring me to make a scene. You shouldn't be here, I said, low, trying to keep my voice steady. Why not? She shrugged. It's a free country. You pretended to be me, I snapped. You raised money lying about my health. You told a man you were me. You broke into my house, Sophia. Her lips curled. Prove it. That was it. That simple, smug statement. People were starting to watch now. A few had recognized her. I could hear whispers. I could see phones slowly being raised, recording, probably. My hands were shaking. You ruined your own life, I said. I gave you a chance. I told you no about the house, that's it. You could have walked away, Sophia. You think you're better than me, she hissed. Because you have a house and a job and your little perfect life. You always have. Even when we were kids, you were the one they praised. I was just the loud one, the troubled one. I blinked. Something cracked in her voice. But she wasn't crying. Not yet. You think this was easy for me? She went on. Living in a car, couch surfing, nobody picking up your calls? You don't know what it's like to have nothing. I do, I said, finally letting the anger through. Because you took everything good I had and dragged it through the mud. You used my name to scam people. You almost got me fired. You tried to sell my house. You lied to everyone. I just wanted what you had, she said, voice breaking now. I wanted to feel safe. For once. Then she did cry. In front of everyone. And for a second, just one, I felt that old cousinly pang of empathy. I remembered being little, sitting under the porch with her during thunderstorms, holding hands because she was scared of lightning. But I didn't reach for her. Not this time. Someone from the fundraiser walked over, a retired teacher, Ms. Bennett. She had that voice you didn't argue with. I think it's time you left, Sophia, she said gently but firmly. You've done enough harm. Sophia stared at me. Her eyes were red. You could still forgive me, she whispered. We're family. I'm not sure what we are anymore, I said. But I hope someday you get help. Because this isn't about me anymore. It's about you not being able to stop. She turned and walked away. Slow, like she thought maybe I'd call her back. I didn't. The crowd dispersed. Some people looked uncomfortable. Others sympathetic. A few just wanted gossip. Ms. Bennett gave my arm a gentle squeeze. You did the right thing, she said. You don't need to carry her choices on your back. Later that night, the detective called. Sophia had been detained. Someone at the event reported the confrontation. It helped push things along. She was being formally charged fraud, stalking, identity theft. The whole list. I hung up the phone and sat in silence for a long time. There wasn't joy. Not really. Just quiet. That kind of betrayal doesn't wrap itself up neatly. It doesn't feel like winning. It feels like losing something you didn't even realize was precious until it was gone. I don't know what'll happen to her next. I probably won't be notified unless I press charges further. And right now, I don't know if I will. I'm exhausted. But free. I still have the house. I still have my job. I still have friends, a life, something to rebuild. But the way I look at people has changed. I check the locks more. I pay attention to red flags now. I've learned that trust is a fragile thing, and blood doesn't guarantee loyalty. If there's one thing I know for sure, it's this. Some people will set themselves on fire just to make sure you burn with them. You can't stop them. But you can walk away from the flames.